Hey everyone, this is our very first video lesson and it's called Order of Operations, which is something that you might have seen or heard of before in your math career. Um, Here we have something called BEDMAS, which is the order in which we kind of take care of all the operations. So if we're giving something nasty like this, we follow the expression BEDMAS to sort of help us all the way through it. So let's get going. I'll show you what I mean. Warm up here. This is what is the answer to the following. So we have 4 times 5 plus 2. Now, I can right away think well, which part of this am I doing first? Am I first doing 4 times 5 or am I first doing 5 plus 2? Because that will change the outcome. And both of those outcomes will be 28 and 22. So maybe right now you can pause the video, take some time, and come up with your own answer to that. Okay. So, um, when calculating expressions, we must follow the order of operations, which again is the order of operations is BEDMAS. That is the order of operations. This is a set of rules which tell us the order that we must evaluate parts of an expression to get the correct answer. Good. I think we knew that. I think we might have known that. So here's what BEDMAS is all about. The B stands for brackets. So first, we simplify or evaluate anything within brackets. Sometimes there's round brackets, sometimes there's square brackets, right? It could look like this, right? Now, the idea with brackets is that you go to the innermost brackets, whatever's on the inside of the inner brackets first, and then you can sort of work your way out to the square ones. We'll do some examples. I'll show you what I mean by that. Exponents. Exponents are the little numbers, right? Remember exponents. Simplify or evaluate the exponents. Now, D and M stands for division and multiplication, and because they're sort of well, they are opposite operations, and they come from the same family. We complete division and multiplication in the order that they appear in the expression from left to right. So if the expression is something like 5 times 4 divided by 2, we're going to first do 5 times 4, okay? Because it's telling us, BEDMAS is telling us work from left to right. Same thing with addition and subtraction. They're opposite operations, and they also come from the same family. So when we're doing addition or subtraction, we complete them in the order that they appear from left to right. And it's very important to note that, from left to right. So here it says, what is the correct answer to 4 plus 5 times 2? Well, I'm going to look over here at BEDMAS, and I see there's no brackets, okay? There's no exponents. There is multiplication, right? And there's also addition. So according to BEDMAS, if I'm going in this order, right, starting at B, ending at S, I'm going to first do multiplication. And sometimes I like to underline it. Sometimes I'll be like, oh yeah, that's the one that I'm attacking, right there. So maybe I can pull out my colored, right, my colored crayon or something like that and underline it and say, okay, 4 plus 5 times 2. 5 times 2, go to my calculator, 5 times 2 is 10. Okay, great. 10. And should put some equal signs here. So now I have 4 plus 10. And because, there's only one operation here, addition, I can just go ahead and do 4 plus 10, which is 14. And that's that. So the correct answer here would be 14. Let's go back to the warm-up. What do we think? Remember, BEDMAS. Sometimes I really like to write the word BEDMAS. Okay? Whoa. I really like to write the word, and that's because it helps me. Because just watch how it helps me. I'm thinking here, brackets, okay, no brackets. Exponents, okay, no exponents. Division, okay, no division. Multiplication. That's the one. And here it is, multiplication. 4 times 5, yikes, 4 times 5 in my calculator says 20 plus 2, right? 20 plus 2, and right away, addition is next, okay, 22. So this would be the correct answer. But can you see how they would get 28? You could get 28 if you did this a little wrong. For example, if you did 5 plus 2 first, 4 times 7, 4 times 7 is 28. However, this is wrong because we did not follow the order of operations. We did not follow bed mass. So 22 would be the correct answer to this warm-up. Okay. It says here we got some questions. Okay, no problem. It says, is 3 plus 6 times 2 minus 8 equal to 7 or 10? Use bed mass to help you solve this. So again, sometimes I really like to write the word bed mass right there. It helps me. And once I see it, I'm a visual type of person. When I see it, it makes things a lot easier. So I don't see any brackets, no exponents, no division. I see multiplication, which is 6 times 2. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put an equal sign to begin. And maybe, maybe you're a highlighter person. Maybe you can just highlight this and be like, okay, first I'm doing 6 times 2. So 3 plus 12. You see how the 12 got there? It's 6 times 2 is 12, and then minus 8. So all we've done is we've calculated 6 times 2. Now, if you look, we have addition and subtraction. Now, because they're in the same family, we're going to do them in the order that they appear from left to right. So first, 3 plus 12 comes first. 12 minus 8 comes second, right? So that's I'm not going to do that first. I'm going to do the 3 plus 12. 3 plus 12, I think, is 15, right? 15 minus that 8. 15 minus 8, right in my calculator, gives me 7. Now, a couple things. First, it's important, I think, to really use this as a guide. It's super helpful just to have it on the top of your page. Maybe you've already memorized it. Maybe you're past that. I don't know. But I like to have it here. It's great. Another super important thing is that you notice how I have equal signs going all the way down like that. Now, that is super important when you are simplifying or evaluating any sort of algebraic or any sort of mathematical expression. Having those equal signs all the way down, it's really good math form. So we should try to remember that. Question B, it looks a little strange. We haven't really come across something like this. How do you evaluate this? We've got 11 plus 7 on the top and then 9 minus 3 at the bottom. And there's a line between those two mathematical statements there. And there's a line here. And that line really means division, okay? Not because it divides the two, but because it's almost like a fraction at this point, okay? Now, with division, when you're doing any sort of bed mass question, when it's written like a fraction, there is a trick to do these, okay? And the trick is simplify the top, the whole top. I know this top isn't much. Then simplify the bottom, and I know the bottom here, the 9 minus 3, it's not a whole lot, but this is the trick to tackle any one of these questions. And then lastly, we are going to divide. Very weird, right? Because we look at bed mass, and we're almost breaking the rules because it's telling us to divide before we add and subtract, right? So it's kind of strange. So in the brackets here, 11 plus 7, so let's go ahead and do that. 11 plus 7 is 18 over 9 minus 3. We get 6. Whoops, I clicked the wrong thing there. Okay, so we have 18 on the top, 6 at the bottom. Next we can divide 18 divided by 6, which is just 3. Good. Almost done. This is the last bit. They gave us 4 examples, which will look a little much. So again, the first thing I'm going to do is write the word, and this might change things, bed mass, because that'll really help me out, I think. As long as I have it here as a guide, it's great. So the first thing I'm looking at is the brackets, and I see 2 sets of brackets. So you know what I'm going to do? Instead of doing one at a time, I'm going to do them both at the same time. So in the first bracket, we have 6 minus 2, which will give us 4, plus the second bracket, which is 4 times 5, and that gives us 20. Now you notice how the brackets are now gone. They've disappeared because I've done all the math inside of them, so those brackets they can kind of go. Now I have 4 plus 20, which is just a nice 24. Okay, good. Let's go to B. We have 6 times 2 squared divided by 6 minus 23. So there's a lot going on here, and it can get a little confusing. That's why we have this guy right here to help us out. So the first is brackets, 6 times 2. Well, 6 times 2 is just 12, right? And whatever was in the brackets was squared. The divided by 6 stayed, right? And the minus 23 we haven't touched yet. See, the only thing we've kind of touched here was the 6 times 2. Next, BEDMAS says exponents. We do have an exponent. It's a little to the power of 2. Now, you could go right to your calculator, do 12 to the exponent 2, or maybe you could just type in 12 times 12, right? And it's going to give us a pretty large number. So here, 12 squared is the next thing we are attacking, okay? 12 squared is 144, right? The divided by 6 we haven't touched yet, and the minus 23 we haven't touched it, and it's looking a lot nicer, isn't it? It sure is. Next, division or subtraction. Well, BEDMAS says division. Okay, so let's do some division. 144 divided by 6 is 24. So we have here 24 minus 23. So I'm just underlining what I did for the next line. And lastly, 24 minus 23. I think it's just 1. Yeah, it's just 1. Okay, great. And that was the last operation we did there. Maybe this underlining thing is not your style, and that's totally okay. You don't have to do it. I just kind of want to show you where this is kind of coming from. I'm going to erase this, set it up for the next one. Okay, so we have 4 minus 2 squared times 6 divided by 8. So in the brackets, 4 minus 2 is just 2 squared times 6 divided by 8, right? So this is where this 2 came from. Read the bracket. 4 minus 2 is 2. Great, got the brackets. Next, exponents. We do have an exponent. It's a little 2. So we have 2 squared. Whoops. 2 squared in my calculator says 4. Okay, so 2 squared turns into 4. And then the times 6 we haven't touched. The divided by 8 we haven't really done anything with yet. Now we have multiplication and division. BEDMAS is saying division first, right? But remember, they come from the same family, so we do them in the order that they appear from left to right. So first, I'm going to do 4 times 6, because that's on the left. And that should give me something like 24. Yeah, so we have 24 divided by 8, and then we're going to divide 24 by 8, and we get 3. That's it, right? We ended up with one answer there, 3, 24, 1, right? Okay, folks, the last one. Okay, I'm noticing right now that there's a little round bracket inside of the square brackets. That little round bracket really shouldn't be there. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is make it disappear. There you go. Okay. So 3 times square bracket and then round bracket. So with all these brackets, it could get a little confusing. But remember what I said earlier, when you're dealing with the B in BEDMAS brackets, you want to go to the innermost brackets. And the reason why these questions have square brackets and round brackets is because, well, it's a lot easier on our eyes to see and distinguish between the two pairs of brackets. Because if they were all round brackets, we don't know which opening bracket belongs to which closed bracket, and that can get super confusing. So that's why these math people, they like to use these two types of brackets. So the innermost brackets here, see we have square, right? Square on each side, and then within the square brackets we have these round ones. So these round ones have the 5 plus 1. When I see my B in BEDMAS, the 5 plus 1 is the first that I'm going to attack. So I'm going to write everything out and just do 5 plus 1, which is 6. So 3 times, right, and I spaced it out a little bit better here. 5 plus 1 gave us 6, and then it was just times 2. Now this looks a lot nicer, doesn't it? Now, we're still not done with this bracket because we still have brackets here. So we're going to go ahead and do 6 times 2 in our calculator. Gives us 12. So we have 3, now 3 times 12. Okay, so that was the operation. And then 3 times 12 is the last thing we're going to be doing here, and that is 36. Okay, great. Okay, folks, that is the order of operations. There is some worksheets attached. I'm going to go through these slides really slow in case you wanted to pause. Folks, if you do have any questions, please feel free to let me know either through an email or through Remind or through a Teams meeting, whatever it is that you want to contact me through. Okay, well, have fun. Good luck with the homework, and I'll see you next time.